You guys thought you could get rid of me. You guys thought it was over. You thought after 3 rants, that's it. I wouldn't talk about this anymore. I wouldn't talk about how bad DBD is. No, you're wrong. There's so much more to talk about. I have 4 main points today. We're going to talk about how weak Springtrap is, how bad his design is, the lack of content we got, and how high his skill ceiling really gets, but varying on the map, it significantly drops. But we're going to start off on his weakness. When I say that, you might immediately look at me and go, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, right? And to your credit, initially it sounds like an insane thought. But compare him to the killers that came out around him. Dracula, Vecna, Handmaster, Ghoul, Crossu. Everyone else around him is way stronger. So when you compare him to the most recent releases, it's like, what the fuck is this? You know, why are we getting such a mediocre killer? And when you say that, you might sound dumb, but like, if you really like it, he is much worse. But then you compare him to, you know, the other killers in the game, and then you go, nah, he's not weak, he's fine. So it's like, it's just a constant comparison battle with Springtrap. But in reality, he does fucking suck. And I'll explain why. He has no fucking map pressure. What I mean by that is, he is not able to pressure 2 people at once just with his power. And his chase power isn't good enough to make up for that. He has a great chase power, that's for sure. But when he doesn't have, for example, Freddy having to wake people up, that is something you have to do if you want to heal. If you know, want to not get caught off guard for no reason or give the killer free info. Because either way, it's a win-win for the Freddy. If you don't wake up, he will either TP to you or use the knowledge of, hey, there's 2 people over here, they're healing. Or you do wake up and you waste the time of waking up. So, like, I'm not saying Freddy's a super fucking strong killer. No, I'm not saying. I think he's weaker than Springtrap. Or probably, yeah, like, weaker than Springtrap, but not too far. But especially against, like, solo queue or even duo queue, it's something that helps greatly. Against Swift, they're so, like, especially good ones, what I mean. When I'm talking about Swift, I mean, like, good Swifts. They become so well coordinated that it almost, like, doesn't fucking matter. But still, if you're able to play around it, or play around the fact that they all have these timers and these clocks, and their people are injured, it's more pressure, and it's seconds that it saves you. And this DBD is a game of time. I think we all know this. DBD is a game of time. So that extra 5 seconds that they took to heal, to do whatever, to get from point A to point B, will potentially save you the game. And in vice versa, not having that 5 seconds can lose you the game. Like Springtrap, for example, there's no reason for anyone to ever use his cameras. And in solo queue, or even duo queue. The only time the cameras actually become something viable is when you're playing in Swift. And on certain maps, for I think is it Autohaven Wreckers, the one with the shack in the middle, it's guaranteed a door spawn there. So Shack, Killer Shack, has a guaranteed door. So if you say, hey, yo, can you get on the door, reveal him real quick? That's like 8 seconds of guaranteed aura at Shack. Now you can't lose a mind game at all, and you could probably even use that distance to keep playing Shack, or that info, sorry, to keep playing Shack, or to just hold W. So yeah, like his lack of map pressure really screws him over, because like all of your pressure comes from your chase. If you have a bad chase, you lose the game. And going on to his chase, his power on most maps is really good. Especially if like you get better at the game, you get more consistent. You can use such a power in like so many different tiles and so many different ways. Hitting over stuff, backing up and then hitting over it. And a lot of the times it is pretty hard to dodge. And if you do dodge it in some cases, depending on like the situation. If you dodge it, you end up getting M1'd because you dodged it, if that makes sense. And when you get certain maps, it ruins that. When you get maps like RPD, now his doors are useless because they're all angled at the gens, so they'll see it flicker, and then by the time you even get out of your door, they're fucking gone, and then you have to hold W for like 20 seconds just to catch up. His power gets screwed over because, you know, walls, funky hitboxes on indoor maps. And that's another thing about maps. Like, a lot of maps have really bad hitboxes, so you tend to hit things that aren't really there. For example, like Red Forest, leaves are fucking like 3 times the size, or the hitbox is 3 times the size of the leaf. So that like indoor maps, you're prone to W key, funky hitboxes. You can no longer orbital, and that's what I was talking about. Like how like his skill ceiling drops depending on the map. You lose the ability to orbital. Is the average Springtrap not even hitting 90% of their orbitals? Yeah. Am I probably missing 60 to 40% of my orbitals? Yeah. But just removing the option entirely screws over everything. Because now you can no longer have the potential of taking your 45 to 1 minute chase down to like 25, 30 seconds. And a lot of the times when people get orbital, they tend to walk into walls because it messes them up. They didn't expect that. And they use that speed boost and they end up losing distance. So when you get maps like the game, you can't do that anymore. On top of the fact that it's a very, very 4-4 abused map. If you get maps like, RPD, maps like Larry's, Hawkins, it really begins to mess you up. You lose the ability to do what the fuck you were able to do. And using your power just honestly becomes a nuisance, especially on Hawkins and on RPD. Pretty much, and the game. You pretty much just want to throw your weapon out and just wait. Just M1 them. Like, you don't even want to use your weapon because they are such 4-4 abusable maps that if you just have your axe on you the whole time, you're going to get screwed over. Like, most of the times, it's just not worth it. By the way, I want to preface this. I'm not someone who's like fucking who hates DBD. I love DBD foundationally. I just hate what is becoming of the game. I have thousands of hours on this game. I have almost 1,000 games on Springtrap. But like, this isn't coming from like a place of pure hatred. When I'm doing these rants, it's not of like a, oh my god, I fucking hate DBD, blah 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 blah. It is coming from a place of like, I wanted to do better, you know. I wish the game that I enjoyed was better, and I think that is the fair thing to say. If I'm playing a game, if I'm playing it full time because it's basically my job, you know, I would want the game to be fun. And even if I'm not streaming or recording, if I want to play offline with my friends, I want the game to be fun. Or if I'm playing offline by myself, I want the game to be fun. The game should be fun. It's a game. It's a game at the end of the day. So, like, when I'm talking about like all of this stuff, this isn't coming from like a, oh my god, this guy hates DBD, he hates the fucking everything about this game. No, I just want the game to do better. So yeah, like I think I hold like the top 3 win streak. I think mine is like 83, and then it's 87, 105. Like, I play a lot of this fucking killer. I like him a lot. I do like the projectile. But talking about like his projectile, his power is incredibly underwhelming. And what I mean by that is design-wise. He, you know, for those who don't know, he came from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. William Afton used the one behind all of the missing children incident. And he ended up like deconstructing the animatronic suits. The ghosts got free. Then they trapped him in a room. He went, oh, let me get in the spring lock suits to get safe. It spring locks him. And now we have Springtrap. And in the game, there's something called Phantom, the Phantom animatronics. So whenever your ventilation system began to like malfunction, you would start like hallucinating. If I think there was a sound one where like if you saw a specific phantom, if you didn't look away fast enough, it would it would like scream at you, and then your ears would start like, it would start making like blasting static noise in your ears. And then there was one more thing I forgot, but it's really underwhelming that they didn't do anything with it. Because I know people are gonna be like, you can't talk about problems if you're not gonna give a solution. And no, first off, that's just not how that works. You can say something's a problem without knowing how to fix it yourself. But I did think of an idea that is completely balanced that would also help with his other issues, like his strength varying on maps and like how weak he is in general. To help give him some map pressure would simply be like a Freddy type thing where like over time everyone becomes asleep. But for Springtrap, they could do it similar to like Dredge, where it's like a universal timer. And what they could do is just pick one of the three, probably not the static noise, but people would fucking hate that. Just do the ventilation malfunction every like 60 seconds to force one survivor off of a gen to do like a Skull Merchant password. And the effect of not doing it would be like blindness, because in the game it starts like taking away your vision. Like something that simple would help a lot. Like if even if the task takes like literally 5 seconds to do, that is 5 seconds of one survivor doing the task, the potentiality of 2 or more of them getting off of their gen to also go do the task. Oh my god, there was one more thing. Oh my god, no. Wait, where'd it go in my brain? Oh yeah, and then the time it takes for you to get to the door and then back to your gen. I know like doors spawn really close to gens, but still, that's still time. That's like 10 seconds probably going to be on average if just one person goes. 10 seconds is a lot of time in DBD. It's something that doesn't like fundamentally break the game for him. It's not something that like changes his power in such a way. It just makes survivors want to use the doors or to have to use the doors. And then, since they're already on it, they might take advantage of the reveal aura system. They might be like, oh, okay, my teammate's in chase. Let me go help, which is then more time of them off of gens, but then they get a benefit for it now because they're already on it. You get what I mean? It's like, if you're already here, why not fucking do it? So that's something I think they could do. I don't see like how broken it would be. If you guys want like an actual, like I would love to do like a rework video or like a completely different change, like an on theme Springtrap power. So if you guys want to see that, I could do that. Just let me know in the comments. But last thing I want to talk about is the lack of content that we actually got with this chapter. For those who don't know, the chapter came out 4 months ago, but a year prior, they teased it. They said Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to DBD. So everyone went fucking crazy. We're like, holy fucking shit, we're getting FNAF. And I think most people knew that it was probably gonna be Springtrap. The Mimic had recently come out and Security Breach ruined. So some people probably thought it was the Mimic. But it was pretty obvious, you know, the fucking main villain of the game was gonna be the one getting the killer. You know, I don't know if these decisions were made by behavior. I don't know if these decisions were made by Scott Cawthon, but the lack of fucking content we got is insane. You know, we got a killer, not really on theme. So if you're a FNAF fan, you're like, it's Springtrap, but it's like not really Springtrap. We got a couple of cool skins. I'll say that. The skins are fucking nice. I really like Glitch Trap, Matthew Lillard Trap. But when we get into other stuff, right? His perks, all of them are shit. Name the last time you've seen someone use a perk from Springtrap that's not Nurse using Phantom Fear or Blight using Phantom Fear. You can't fucking tell me. Haywire is fundamentally a weak fucking perk. But because of Singularity, they have to make it weaker. Because of one killer, they just had to pretty much gut the entire fucking perk. What's the other one? It's fucking what Help Wanted. Wow. Stabiffle. I think the compromise perks are cool in theory. They're terrible. They're just terrible, and when you fucking apply them, they're just so ass. They're just so bad. But Yeah, like, and then we didn't get a survivor. You teased us for a year. You didn't give us a new survivor. You gave us really bad killer perks. You gave us shirts. You gave us shirts. We didn't get any killer skins. We didn't get like a Chica Twins or a Molten Freddy Dredge or like a marionette artist. We got no fucking skins. So other killers did not give a shit. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. By the time Springtrap came out, if you didn't like Springtrap, you probably really got bored of DBD because you didn't get anything. All you did was get nerfs around the time. So it's like, why the hell would anyone else want to keep, especially killer players, want to keep fucking playing? Then survivors, why would they want to play? They didn't get a new fucking survivor. They didn't get a new perk. You know, the entire new content is Springtrap. And then everyone was DCing against Springtrap because they're like, God, he's so strong. He's so strong. Like, no, he was terrible. Like, it's just people seeing something new and then immediately start freaking out. Like, people like thought he was like fucking A+ tier. I'm like, holy shit. For the longest time, I was joking saying he was like C- tier. But like, he is the most fucking average killer you can get in DBD. He is a jack of all trades, a master of none. He can't do anything well, but he has everything. But I'm going back to content. The fucking map. Oh my god. Wow. The map landed right on fucking Greenville. So cool. You know, we didn't get like the houses from the movie. We didn't get even the parking lot from the fucking movie outside the building. It's like, we didn't even get Foxy. Like, where the fuck is Foxy at, bro? These people, like, kidnapped his ass. They said, they put a little plushie in his place. And I went, they'll be fine. Like, where the fuck is he at? Bro, they better, like, do something, especially skin-wise. Like, I feel like most characters fit characters from FNAF. For example, I'll keep going. I said marionette artist, like Chica Twins, Molten Freddy Dredge, Golden Freddy Unknown. I know they're not doing the original 4, so like the Chica one wouldn't count. But like who like other animatronics? You guys should probably fucking think of some ideas. Or even like Fredbear. You can do like Nightmare Fredbear Unknown. That would be cool. They both have stomachs that open. Well, technically Unknown's his back, but still, you know, Baby Skull Merchant. There are possibilities. I don't know whose decision it was to not continue on making other content. I don't know whose decision it was to not make a survivor, skins, you know, all this other shit that we probably should have gotten for something that got leaked a year prior, but we just didn't get it. So, honestly, I think the biggest fucking problem of why a lot of people just felt like it's underwhelming, and why I thought too, it's because they teased it a year early, right? If you tease something 365 days prior, people are going to expect higher. Their expectations are going to grow higher over time. The days go on, you're going to be thinking about it more and more and how they could be adding more and more stuff. Had they teased it like 2 months, 3 months prior, we would have went, oh, that's cool. And then if they only released like 1 killer, 1 map, we wouldn't have been as mad. Eventually, we would have went like, wow, this is for such a big chapter. It was pretty underwhelming, but it would take longer because it would at least look like you didn't give a shit, or not give a shit. You didn't start as soon as we thought. But yeah, that's all I have today. W little yap video. You know, might post like 2 to 1 a week, depending. I mean, there's still a lot more things we could talk about. We talked about maps. We talked about the game. We talked about killers now. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a good one.